All right, welcome back, everyone. We're diving into a match today that, well, let's just say it sent some shockwaves through the Premier League.
Definitely a big one.
Leicester City going up against Newcastle United. And yeah, we're not just going to skim the surface here.
Oh,
You
no.
want the full story.
Yeah.
What were those key moments that shifted the game? Who were the players that really stepped up or, maybe didn't quite make the mark? And most importantly, what does this all mean for both teams as we look ahead? So, ready to break it all down?
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
Okay, so right off the bat, Newcastle came out strong, like really strong.
Yeah, you could just tell from the first whistle they were that a win.
And they've got this pretty impressive history against teams that recently moved up from the championship, don't they?
22 matches, only one loss. I mean, that speaks for itself.
Yeah, experience definitely on their side. But it seemed like it was more than just, having played more games at this level.
Oh, absolutely. It was the way they approached the game, their whole mindset. Newcastle were hungry for a win, they were confident, and they just completely shut down Leicester's attempts to build any kind of momentum.
And you could almost feel that, right? Leicester, they're coming off a tough streak, maybe a bit unsure of themselves, and then you've got Newcastle riding high, totally in control.
Exactly. It's almost like that energy becomes contagious, spreads across the whole pitch, and it definitely played into Newcastle's hands.
And speaking of players who really embodied that energy, Anthony Gordon. Wow.
He was everywhere, just nonstop running at Leicester's defense, really putting their left back under pressure. I think he knew that was a weak spot, and he exploited it perfectly.
Yeah, and even though he didn't get his name on the score sheet, it felt like he was involved in almost every dangerous attack Newcastle put together in those early stages.
Oh, for sure. He was the spark that ignited their attack. And, it eventually paid off big time, didn't it? That assist he gave for Murphy's goal.
Oh, talk about a thing of beauty.
Just cut through Leicester's defense like butter, laid it on a plate for Murphy, and bang, right in the back of the net. I think that was the moment that really, really took the wind out of Leicester's sails.
It definitely felt like a turning point. But, it wasn't all smooth sailing for Newcastle at the start. Remember that chance Isak had in the first half?
Oh, how could I forget? He really should have buried that one. I think everyone in the stadium thought it was going in.
It looked like a sure goal. But sometimes, even the best strikers miss those sitters.
True. But you know what? I think that miss might have actually been a blessing in disguise for Newcastle.
How so?
Well, it kind of lit a fire under them. They came back out after halftime even more determined, even more focused. And boom, 5 minutes in, they get their second goal.
Yeah, that's got to be demoralizing for the other team, right?
Yeah.
Come out hoping to turn things around, and then bam, they score again almost immediately.
Exactly. It's like all momentum shifted back to Newcastle. And that goal, Guimarães with the header, beautiful set-piece routine.
Okay, let's talk about that set piece for a minute.
Yeah.
Because Lewis Hall's delivery was spot on.
Right. It was perfect. Right into the danger zone, Guimarães timed his run to perfection, and Leicester just couldn't handle it. Their marking was all over the place. I think they maybe underestimated how dangerous Newcastle can be from set pieces.
So tactical awareness for Newcastle, maybe a little bit of a lapse in concentration from Leicester.
I think that's a fair assessment. And then, you add Alexander Isak into the mix, and, well, it was game over for Leicester at that point.
He was on another level. That goal he scored was fantastic. But honestly, I think that assist he gave Murphy for the second goal was even more impressive.
Oh, are you kidding me? That run he made was just pure magic. He just glided through Leicester's defense like they weren't even there. And then that pass to Murphy. Vision, precision, everything.
Okay, hold on. Let's rewind for a second. Because, yes, it was an amazing individual effort from Isak. But, putting on my analytical hat here, could Leicester have done anything differently to stop him?
It's a good question. I mean, maybe they could have reacted quicker, anticipated the pass a bit better, double-teamed him, perhaps. But Isak just made it look so easy. That's the sign of a truly special player, I think.
Yeah, when they make it look that easy, it's hard to fault the defense too much. And speaking of players who really turn things around, Jacob Murphy. 2 goals in this match. Remember that early miss he had?
Oh, yeah, but you know what? Sometimes those early misses can actually be a good thing.
A good thing. How so?
It forces you to refocus, to kind of reset and think, okay, what do I need to adjust? And that's exactly what Murphy did. He didn't let that miss get to him, kept his cool, and when the next opportunities came along, he was ready.
Mentally and technically.
Absolutely. You could see the confidence in those finishes.
All right, so Newcastle firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
But we can't just gloss over Leicester's struggles here, especially when it comes to their away games. 1 win out of 8. That's a bit concerning.
Yeah, that's a stat that's got to be keeping the manager up at night. You can't expect to have a successful season if you can't pick up points on the road.
What do you think is at the root of that? Is it tactical? Like, do they just play too defensively when they're away from home?
It's possible, or maybe it's more of a mental thing. Maybe they lack that same belief, that same swagger when they're not playing in front of their home crowd.
Yeah, that can be a tough hurdle to overcome. So if you were the manager, where would you even start trying to fix that? Tactical changes, mental coaching.
I mean, it's probably a combination of things. They need to figure out what works best for them on the road, both in terms of their game plan and their mentality. It's a tough challenge, but it's something they have to address if they want to turn their season around.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. All right, so to wrap up this deep dive, we saw Newcastle just dominate the match. Gordon's early energy set the tone, Isak was simply brilliant, and Murphy bounced back from that early miss to score 2 crucial goals. On the flip side, Leicester's away form is still a major concern, and they've got some tough questions to answer if they want to improve.
Agreed.
But here's a final thought for everyone out there. Given everything we just talked about, how do you think these two teams will approach their next matchup? Will Newcastle ride this wave of momentum, or can Leicester find a way to pull off an upset? Because this is the Premier League, and as we all know, anything can happen.
You never know.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.